back to Studio F. We're on Fast Time Willy B. We'll be reviewing 10 Things I Hate About You for its 25th anniversary. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Rosie back for another 25th anniversary. Rosie, how are we doing today?
Pretty good. Glad to be back.
So, we'll be doing 10 Things I Hate About You. This one came out March 31st, 1999. We're throwing it back a little bit because this is one that I just can't leave off the 1999 list.
Definitely not.
One of my favorites. I consider it a classic. Mm-hmm. And we're going to dive into it today. Directed by Gil Junger. We've got quite the cast. You've got Heath Ledger. You've got Julia Stiles. You've got David Krumholtz, if you're a fan of the Santa Claus films. We've got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt, amongst others. We'll start with the good.
Sure.
And the cast.
Of course.
I mean, I love everything about this. I think Heath Ledger is the perfect Patrick Verona that, you know, everybody sees him as this big, monstrous, gross guy, but deep down, he's a romantic.
Yes, he is. Very.
I think Julia Stiles is the perfect casting for Katarina Stratford as well. Very similar description as Patrick Verona, which makes them the power couple.
For sure.
I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Cameron. The hopeless romantic, the guy that's really setting this all up, along with his buddy.
Yes.
And then Bianca. I think she's just that. At first, kind of full of herself. She knows she's the pretty girl, and Atlantic plays her really well. And there's really no complaints.
Yeah,
when it comes to the acting and the characters.
This is one of my favorite genres. I've said it on here before. Another good coming of age movie.
Yeah.
Goes along with me with like The Breakfast Club and movies like that, where you can just kind of put it on and. Kind of as a background, it's like a good movie because we've seen it a million times, so we don't really have to watch it to get the drift of the movie. I know we mentioned it on the podcast a lot. That is one of our movies that we've watched together a billion times as a couple. Yeah. The cast is very mid to late 90s, which is great. So the casting is definitely great.
Yeah. This movie is a movie that I've watched an abundance of times, and it seems like most of the watches are the same type of watch.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I gotta go to bed, let's throw on a movie, fall asleep too. Go to Disney Plus, go alphabetize. 10 Things I Hate About You.
The first one up there.
And I've seen it 100 times, I'll fall asleep to it.
Never.
2 hours pass, I'm like, man, this movie is so good.
Yeah.
It's a really good story too, Cameron is the new kid at this school. You've got the Stratford sisters. Kat is, the one that is kind of like exiled by the school as like the bad girl, the scary girl.
Yeah.
And her little sister Bianca is
the opposite.
Pretty girl, loves the dresses, and hangs out with the cool kids. And then, Cameron has his guy, David Krumholtz's character, walks him around, teaches him the ways, shows him all the cliques, shows him who's who, shows him the bad guy, you got the model, and through it all, you've got so many stories that are intertwining because Bianca's not allowed to date until Kat dates, but Cameron wants to date her.
Yeah.
So Cameron's like, well, how do we set Kat up? That's how they go after Patrick.
Right.
But then they're like, how do we get him to do that? Because he doesn't want to date Bianca too. And it's just a fun story to follow around with. It's really well thought out.
Definitely.
And, for a movie that has so many different paths and so many different, like, things going on, you really can't find like a plot hole or flaw with this film.
Yeah.
And that's why it's always been one of my favorite rom-coms and also coming of age films.
Right.
Because it has so much going on, but it's not messy.
Yeah, I would agree. I like this one because, at least to my knowledge, there isn't another movie that's been done like this. At least that I've never heard of. So it's definitely a classic. I love the story. It's very well done, like you mentioned. It's just, I don't know, one of those feel-good movies that I feel like a lot of people can relate to.
For sure.
Especially growing up. I mean, it was a little old for us growing up, but I know that it's just something a lot of people go through, especially people that have siblings. Especially siblings that are the same age, or the parents hold everyone to the same standard.
Yeah.
Now I don't know that to be true because I've never experienced that, but I can assume, and I do know that from you and all my friends, that parents hold similar aged children to the same standard, and the dad is very uptight and doesn't want anything happening to his little girls. So
yeah, for sure,
it's a very relatable story for many, I feel.
100%. Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's just, again, one of those movies that you can throw on any time. It's always gonna hit. It's got a great soundtrack.
It definitely does.
You've got a lot of that. You've got some grunge. You've got some just the '90s hits. Honestly, one of my favorite scenes is the party scene where you get Kat has a little bit too much to drink.
Dancing on the table. Yes.
I mean, right there, another great hit of the 90s. And that's a lot of the soundtrack. You get some of the grunge mix, and obviously you and I like that punk rock feel. There's really not much to complain about with this movie.
No, I would agree.
I think it's hilarious. I think all of the comedy lands. There's never really a joke that leaves me wondering, like, oh, you didn't really need to put that in there.
Yeah.
I mean, just all around, it's so good. I mean, even Joey, like, he's made to be this asshole, but, like, his character is just so well done as that, full of himself jerk that, I'm going to do this one for pride. And then he ends up being the loser. It's just, everything comes full circle. You have
definitely
really good character arcs for all of these characters. I mean, Patrick, he's this mysterious guy at the beginning and at the end. He's this romantic. You see him crying while she reads the poem. You have him singing and dancing throughout the stadium stairs. Another great scene. Then you got Kat, who, starts very similarly. She's very hidden. You don't know a lot about her. And as she opens up, you see, like, okay, she's falling for this guy. She flashes her soccer coach to get him out of detention. Like, just all of these shenanigans going on. You can see that they're falling in love. The paintball scene, great scene. And then, you got Bianca, who really full of herself at the beginning, but becomes this great loving girlfriend of Cameron towards the end. Cameron, always the hopeless romantic, turns into the great boyfriend. Joey, always the asshole, but he gets what he deserves. Like, it's just everything you want to happen and you think should happen to these kids happens. And I think that's why I love it so much.
Yeah. I love a happy ending because sometimes in a movie like this, you don't always get an ending like that, and everyone's characters come full circle.
For sure.
At the end, they all turn out a separate way, the way that they're intended to form. That's what I like about a good coming-of-age movie. All the kids in most coming-of-age movies start out one way and then mature and grow during the length of the movies and end up a different way than they were before.
Get a lot of good laughs, like I said, but you also get to shed a few tears. That poem scene where we get the 10 things I hate about you, is
iconic.
Yes, to say the least. And then that's where, after that you get the happy ending with the guitar in the car and the next steps. But just all around, like you said, it's a movie you can follow along with really easily. It's very rewatchable, very high replay value.
Definitely.
And
especially in this house.
Honestly, guilty pleasure movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like most people enjoy this movie, so it's hard to say guilty pleasure because it's not like one of those movies that, like, people hate and you're like, oh, but I like it.
Yeah.
But, like, with the amount I watch it, I should probably consider it a guilty pleasure.
Definitely.
I don't personally have anything in the matter bad. This is one of those movies that I think, I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it's, like, as close to perfect as you can get.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything either. I mean, it's one of those movies you showed me when we first started dating, so I think it's both grown on both of us the same way. So
Yeah. So we'll hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with 10 things I hate about you, and what do you give it out of 10?
Well, I just want to leave off by saying that it's both one of our favorites.
Yep.
It's movie we always watch. We always just toss on whenever we're not doing anything important or trying to go to bed or whatever. It's one of my favorite genres.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an easy watch. But I'm gonna give it. I mean, it's just a fun movie. So there's no reason to not give it a 10 out of 10 for me.
Awesome. One of my most recent watches before this one was on vacation this summer with my family. You unfortunately weren't able to go, but I threw it on, and because Megan said that she loved 10 Things I Hate About You. I was like, you don't have to tempt me with a good time.
Right.
So I threw it on, and we're watching, and Jude goes, I like her dress, looking at Bianca, and Megan goes, we are completely different people.
Yeah.
Megan always wanted to be Kat, and Jude's over here idolizing Bianca. Just, another memory I made with this movie, and it's crazy to think, like, the amount of memories you can make with movies. I have a lot, obviously. I've talked about Jurassic Park and Jaws on this channel, and the memories I have with my grandpa and dad and grandma and all of that, but, like, or The Goonies with my mom, or It's a Wonderful Life, too, with my mom. But this one, just, like, it's one that I was introduced to later in life. I think the first time I watched it was, like, right before we started dating, and then we watched it together. But, like, it's just so iconic because I have the memory of us first watching together. I have the memory on vacation now. I have all of these Disney Plus memories. And it's, it's happened at least more than 10 times.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those movies that's always going to stick with me. I will probably watch it at least once a year, every year. It's
Definitely.
It's clockwork at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one I love, and it's an easy 10 out of 10 for me.
All right.
5 stars.
Definitely.
But that'll do it for 10 Things I Hate About You, Rosie. Thank you again for coming on for another 25th anniversary. Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some of these other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Go check out 10 Things I Hate About You for its 25th birthday, because why not? And we will talk to you all soon. Peace.
Peace and love.